So you can't expect a miracle from your Fiverr contractors. Hey everybody, Nomadic Chad here, and this is Revenue Operations in 10 minutes. I see a lot here when people are hiring out Fiverr or what are the other sites? Upwork, Craigslist, if that's still a thing. The tendency is to go in and want to spend $500 and then expect one, like the contractor's going to magically read your mind and deliver everything you want, or two, to think that it's going to be really hands off and come out into some pristine like $20,000 product. So there's two points that I want to hammer home here. I'm not one of these gurus that's like, oh, go get yourself some virtual assistants. It's going to solve all your problems. Look, I have worked with contractors all over the world: Ukraine, Germany, Latin America, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan. The offshore ones, especially if there's a tremendous time zone difference. When I worked for a startup, full salary, mind you, six-figure salary, and we had the Ukrainian team. It was excruciating because you come in to the time zone difference, you're dealing with language barriers, cultural barriers, and you think that you've done like the best business requirements document ever. Totally going to get it. What could they possibly miss? And you come in after essentially 12 hours of what should have been them working and nothing, crickets. And it's like this open, stupid question. And it just feels so frustrating. For you, it becomes this exercise of patience. And I would dare say it's great exercise in leadership too. Not leadership in a domineering way, but you have to understand how to own your vision, and you have to understand how to iterate yourself toward the vision. And my point being in that, those were fully paid development firm dev contractors. Okay, now let's take this all down and totally downgrade expectations and the quality of work you're getting. Now you're in gig culture, and some of these guys development gigs are like $50 to $200, but man, you're not even paying for $10,000 worth of development. You're certainly not getting $10,000 worth of development, and $10,000 worth of development isn't a lot. A real full stack developer in the US, they're going to start anywhere from 150 to 200K. So point number one, you got to bring your expectations way down. And that doesn't mean it's not achievable. I still think this is the way to go. I'm not looking for a fully employed developer right now, although the one that I use the most just started his own dev firm. Super proud of him. And as this project grows, I'd love to have him on full time. So bring down your expectations, but micro pack your phases. In an agile context, this is referred to as stories within a sprint. And literally think of a sprint as like running through, people do them in 2-week sprints or 1-week sprints, but just chugging through, trying to get as many of these stories done. Boom, you're done. You evaluate, you ship product, you QA it, you ship it, you see what's good, and then you iterate on down the road. But guiding this is a roadmap. And I see how they connect that whole analogy. You're sprinting down the road. So anyway, guiding this whole thing is your vision, your product vision, and the roadmap. So with your Fiverr contractors, especially on the developers, you got to get these guys on Zoom. You have to talk to them, spend the time to make sure they really understand it. Ask questions like, does that make sense? What were your thoughts on it? Can you show me what you're thinking about? If you're able to mock up, I'll do a podcast on that later. Mock up the crap out of everything. Screenshots, pictures. I go into the HTML inspector tool and I'll make changes. I want it to look like this. But I just started phase 3 with this particular developer. And this is the longest of the 3 phases we've done, but it's still a microdose. And we have it organized in a spreadsheet. And this morning we spent time on Zoom and we went over it together. And I asked a question. This is how transparent you have to be. One of my last questions was, okay, so we do agree that everything with the 3 on it in this spreadsheet is in scope, is getting done in this phase, right? And he said yes. And don't take that for granted, because I missed on a phase before this. I sent a slide deck of screenshots. I just assumed that he would read it. and he didn't, and it came out different, but that was my fault. I didn't take the time to sit with him and go through the screenshots and say, does this make sense? Is this what you want? So don't take for granted that because you put a 3 on a spreadsheet that this developer is agreeing to you that this is going to be phase 3, that this is in phase 3 scope. So, and I'm telling you this because you have to own it. Like, what will happen at the end of this is you get mad at Fiverr, you get mad at the Fiverr developers, you say stupid things. Like, when you're calling a developer stupid and this person knows how to do Mongo or, what are we on this one? Node.js or something, like, they're smarter than you, I promise. It's just they're a very particular type of person. They communicate in very particular ways. They see the world in very particular ways. And that's why, honestly, a business analyst, which I'm technically an operations manager right now, but a business analyst gets paid a lot of money because you can communicate, you can bridge the gap for companies between both worlds. You understand the business world and you understand the tech world. And it's your job now. This is your revenue operations position in your own company. You have to bridge that world. You have to have your roadmap, know your vision, have an inkling of understanding of what systems, but you're not solutioning for it. You want to be able to convey to these developers what your business requirements are, what your business vision is, and then you need to be able to break that down, scope it into different phases, and within those phases, make smaller little milestones. I'm calling them milestones. I don't recommend throwing yourself into like a full-blown agile process if it's just you and a developer. But you most certainly cannot do what they call the waterfall method, where you just do a whole bunch of stuff, ship it, 3 months later, and hope it's going to work out. So let's recap this. You got to lower your expectations on Fiverr. Okay, and that's mainly because you're not paying a lot of money. And in the last month, I totaled this up. I spent like $1,300 on Fiverr. That's between different contractors and different gigs. That's still not a lot of money. So don't go tripping on yourself thinking that you're a big baller and you're spending a lot of money. These guys are working for pennies sometimes. And you're supporting an entrepreneurial spirit, so good for you. Pat yourself on the back. But this is not, you are not at a Fortune 100, Fortune 500, or even just a run-of-the-mill dev shop getting what I would call fresh out of an incubator quality dev work. You're getting what you're paying for, and you're not paying for much. So you got to lower your expectations. Don't expect a miracle. And if you want more success on Fiverr, you have to break these projects down into phases. And within those phases, you have to be very clear about milestones. And for dang sure, get your developer, get that guy or gal on Zoom and go over it and walk through it and go through mockups. And then finally, I'll close with this: check in. Now, this particular developer, he and I are offline, which means we're doing direct billing. So we're on a payment schedule with progress reports. And I like this guy. I trust this guy. I think he's amazing, and I think he'll get it all done. But in my experience, just like your productivity with W-2 companies, those payment schedules matter. That anticipation matters. That accountability matters. It gives you a reason to sync up every week, and also you will just overall see better results if you're setting regular cadence check-ins and timing your payments to those check-ins. That's it. Lower your expectations, but go get it at the same time. Hire these developers, try it, over communicate, make sure you are spending time to say things different ways. Make sure you're spending time to understand how they think and how they understand and what you need to get real confirmation back from them that they understand. Check in frequently and make them bite-sized, and you'll have a lot more success. See you guys.